Hi, welcome back to the Traveling Businessman. This is Corey. I am the creative director here at Career Marketing. Thank you guys for joining back with us for another episode. I know it's been 2 weeks before since I've uploaded, but I've been busy. But today's topic, as you can tell from the title, um, I'm a little tired of hearing this phrase of people just don't want to work anymore. So there was a trend that was going downward since before COVID. COVID just accelerated the idea that was taking hold of America anyway, and I mean particularly America, was the fact that people are kind of tired of working at legacy jobs and really staying in the same area, same place in their life for 30 years before they get, one promotion. I really don't understand how we thought that would be sustainable and that people will be able to deal with that, especially as life has gotten easier and things have become more accessible due to social media and the internet. Um, a lot of the problems also lie in the fact that we have a ridiculous, and I do mean ridiculous, hiring process for most companies, and I don't just mean corporate. So the first problem, I mentioned the trend that was happening um, before COVID, which accelerated this need to not have to work at places that won't promote you for 10 years or work a dead end place for 10 years, hoping to get a promotion. Well, I had this idea whenever I was in college, which is about 2017, 2018, that the trend is heading towards everyone becoming independent contractors, everyone servicing each other, and everyone making money from doing that. And that's exactly what's happening. A lot of people are starting to open businesses. A lot of people are starting to become independent contractors for various skill sets that they have. And they have far more prospects working for themselves than working for a company. So I had this idea. This is why I started career marketing. It's because I had the idea that everyone would become independent contractors. Who's going to fill that void or that need to have marketing professionals? And if everyone becomes independent contractors, how do you beat out anyone else for a particular position? So that comes down to marketing. So it's going to be a whole rush of people who need marketing. And I don't just mean influencers. I mean plumbers won't even make work at a certain company anymore. You'll just be able to hire a direct plumber like it's Fiverr. So that's the way I feel the world is going, which is why you may not be able to hire anyone. It's not that they're not working or they don't want to work. It's that they don't want to work for you and your company anymore. The second problem is, as business owners, we have to think about how we would like the company to be presented if we were being interviewed. Right? I think a lot of problems come in is that a lot of these managers and CEOs are legacy. They've been in that position for far too long. Not saying that they shouldn't be in that position. Not saying that they didn't deserve it in the first place. I'm saying that you lose perspective once you get that high up. You lose perspective whenever you've been in that position for so long, where you don't have many people over you telling you what to do or dictating how your life is going to turn out if you make a wrong turn here or there. You're the one who get to kick their feet up on the office. Um, Granted, a lot of managers work a lot of long hours, not to cut them short, but you have to understand, the stress of having someone over your head or multiple people over your head is not in your ballpark anymore, and it hasn't been for years. So you have to translate this idea as a business owner, as a manager, hiring manager, as recruiters. And we'll get to recruiters here in a second. But one of the problems with the hiring process is that it's far too long. It's too arduous for people, especially at this fast paced life. Also, we're not doing a great job in interviews. And before we even get to the interviews, most companies have switched to a system, an AI system anyway. So they run your resume through looking for keywords, which is the worst way to hire people, which translates to turnover rates, which is one of the things that business owners wish they could do away with, but they're the ones perpetuating anyway because they're not doing the proper interviewing process. Yes, it's going to take a long time. Yes, you need to invest. But if you didn't do that in the first place, you wouldn't have a business. You already invested. You already taken the time. So do that for the people that you're bringing in too. So the next step from getting away from using AI systems, yes, I know, I understand. You may have a high volume of applicants. This is why teams have recruiters. I used to think that we should do away with recruiters because they don't know the job at all. They may be trained to know the job, but they've never actually done it. A lot of them, anyway. And they don't do a great job of hiring people. They're basically robots. And just forget about external recruiters. Just completely forget about it. It's a waste of your time. You're never going to get the right people in your company. But we should switch recruiters to them actually being trained how to look at a resume, and how would that translate to a position. Like, they're all hiring managers. Okay, so we shouldn't have a hiring manager and then a bunch of recruiters, right? We should just have a bunch of hiring managers at the recruiter level, and those resumes that are looked over by a human should then be submitted for a final review from whomever in your company needs to review those so people can be hired. Then the next step after that, what do we do then? How many interviews should we have? I believe that you only need one interview. You shouldn't have people come in for 2 or 3, having them do a written exam, having them do an oral exam. You know how much time you waste for people, especially if you're just hiring for one role? We have to start being considerate too. It's not just an honor for someone to come work at your company. You need them just like they need you. So if we start thinking like this, the hiring process would be I think it would solve much of the turnover rate. I mean, the hassle it takes to even get in a company alone makes you want to leave before you even get in the door. So we have to start thinking like that. Why are we doing 2 to 3 interviews? Because we don't trust people? Well, if we knew how to read a resume and how that translated to a position, and basically just have some faith in human beings, then that can be solved. I think a lot of this problem can be solved at the top level if we start implementing real systems that are designed to help people win instead of designed to weed people out. If we start doing that, I think we'll have a far more successful economy, especially in this moment. I think this is a good learning moment for everyone to go back to the drawing board and figure out, what do we go wrong? There's going to be a video soon uploaded that's related to this. I want to upload it maybe in 2 or 3 days. And it's about how much we value degrees and how that's pretty much ruined part of our hiring process as well, right? Because this answer is only halfway there, in my opinion. I think the obsession with the degree has also damaged quite a bit when it comes to hiring people. And I'll give you an example before I leave, so you don't think I'm just pulling your leg. I've looked at 10 marketing jobs, by 10 different companies, and there was one in particular that was hiring, and this company hadn't been hiring for about a year. I saw in their description that they were willing to train like it was an apprenticeship, and they filled their position within a week. The other jobs, they needed a bachelor's degree preferred, which basically means bachelor's degree required. If it's required, you're weeding out a large majority of people already, in related fields. I mean, think about it. If you're only offering $40,000, and they had to put in $80,000 to even get the degree, your company's not worth it at that point. You have to start thinking about that. Your company is not the holy grail. You have to start. You're not Google. You're not Apple. You're not helping to save the Congo. You're not doing any of that, right? So you have to have a relative understanding of your company and its standing. So that before I go off on a tangent, that video is coming soon. I'm very passionate about that issue, um, and the company that did it right, that was willing to train somebody, got the position filled, and doing well. That company's called Creekmore. So you guys go and give them some love. They're doing things right. I've been watching them, and I'm really appreciative of all their work. Again, this has been Corey from Career Marketing. I'm posting this on the Traveling Businessman. You guys can check that out on Rumble, YouTube, our Facebook, and basically our LinkedIn.